Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest world news from trusted sources.
Washington Post World. August 1, 1701 Europe London. Mexico to hold referendum on accountability of ex-presidents. A referendum in Mexico on Sunday is going to cost Mexico about $25 million. Few like the poorly written question on the ballot. And the vote is being held in the coronavirus pandemic.
ABC News International. August 1, 05. 40 Europe London. U.S. Navy says drone strike hit oil tanker off Oman, killing 2. U.S. Navy explosive experts believe a drone strike targeted an oil tanker that came under attack off the coast of Oman in the Arabian Sea, killing 2 on board.
BBC News World. August 1, 05. 37 Europe London, Turkey. Foreign tourists evacuated as wildfires threaten resorts. Coast Guard vessels and private boats have brought holidaymakers to safety, as the death toll rise.
The Independent. August 1, 05. 14 Europe London, Schumer. Senators will get the job done on infrastructure. The Senate wrapped up a rare Saturday session without producing the text of a $1 trillion infrastructure bill.
New York Times World News. August 1, 05. 09 Europe London. Texas governor bars mask and vaccination mandates. The state's daily average of cases has risen more than 200% over the past 14 days and hospitalizations are surging. But an executive order ensures that masking and vaccinations remain voluntary. A restaurant in Austin, Texas, in April.
ABC News International. August 1, 05. 00 Europe London. Mexico to hold referendum on accountability of ex-presidents. A referendum in Mexico on Sunday is going to cost Mexico about $25 million. Few like the poorly written question on the ballot, and the vote is being held in the coronavirus pandemic.
The Independent. August 1, 05. 00 Europe London. Mexico to hold referendum on accountability of ex-presidents. A referendum in Mexico on Sunday is going to cost Mexico about $25 million. Few like the poorly written question on the ballot, and the vote is being held in the coronavirus pandemic.
RT World News. August 1, 04. 45 Europe London. Israel to destroy 80,000 expired Pfizer vaccine doses as over 60's COVID booster scheme gets underway, media. Israel is preparing to get rid of some 80,000 Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine doses after their shelf life expired. Previously, the Jewish state salvaged some 700,000 nearly expired doses by sending them to South Korea in a swap deal.
BBC News World. August 1, 04. 39 Europe London. Simone Biles withdraws from floor final at Tokyo Olympics. American Simone Biles withdraws from the floor final but is yet to make a decision on whether to compete on beam.
New York Times World News. August 1, 04. 23 Europe London. Thousands protest in France against health pass for third weekend. The government's health pass law was passed by Parliament and is expected to get a final green light from a top constitutional council next week. Demonstrators in Paris protested against France's health pass and other coronavirus protocols on Saturday.
BBC News World. August 1, 04. 15 Europe London, Tokyo Olympics. Charlotte Worthington wins BMX freestyle gold for Great Britain. Great Britain's Charlotte Worthington wins a thrilling gold in the women's BMX Park Freestyle Olympic final.
Time. August 1, 03. 48 Europe London. Caleb Dressel claims 4th Tokyo gold with 50m freestyle Olympic record. Securing his place as one of the biggest stars of the Tokyo Olympics, Caleb Dressel won his 4th gold medal with a victory in the 50-meter freestyle Sunday.
World CBS News, com. August 1, 02. 20 Europe London. Novak Djokovic will leave the Tokyo Olympics without any medals. Djokovic on Saturday withdrew from his scheduled doubles match following consecutive losses.
Mirror World News. August 1, 01. 52 Europe London. Paris riot police use tear gas on anti-vaxxers as crowds clash over COVID rules. More than 200,000 people across France protested against President Emmanuel Macron's vaccine drive, and some of the marches in Paris got out of hand with flares thrown and 3 police officers injured.
World CBS News, com. August 1, 01. 16 Europe London. Elaine Thompson-Herah breaks Flojo's 33-year-old Olympic record. Elaine Thompson-Herah broke the 33-year-old Olympic record set in the Seoul Games, all while Team Jamaica claimed all 3 spots on the podium.
Fox World News. August 1, 01. 10 Europe London. French police clash with anti-virus pass protesters in Paris. Thousands of people protested France's special virus pass with marches through Paris and other French cities on Saturday. Most demonstrations were peaceful, but sporadic clashes with riot police marked protests in the French capital. ABC News International. August 1, 01. 02 Europe London. Tunisian police detain lawmaker, Islamist party officials. Tunisian authorities jailed an opposition lawmaker and charged 4 members of the powerful Islamist movement Ennahda, according to local media.
The Independent. August 1, 00. 52 Europe London. Tunisian security forces place prominent judge under house arrest. Rights activists in Tunisia see Akremi as symbolizing corruption in the judiciary.
World CBS News, com. August 1, 00. 42 Europe London. Panic tourists evacuate as wildfires blaze through Turkey. The death toll from Turkey's wildfires has risen to 6. Panicked tourists vacationing on the Aegean Sea fled as a new fire erupted, while Coast Guard units asked those with private boats and yachts to help with evacuations. World CBS News, com. August 1, 00. 42 Europe London. This Chicago area zoo is helping raise a baby, Whitney the wallaby. After a baby wallaby's mother got sick at the Brookfield Zoo with a potentially life-threatening infection, specialists stepped in to help raise her. Caretakers Paul Eberhard and Maggie Shardell do everything from bottle feeding to carrying her in a pouch.
New York Times World News. August 1, 00. 40 Europe London. In vaccine holdout states, a new urgency to administer shots. Data from the CDC shows that many people in states like Louisiana, Mississippi and Missouri are now receiving their first doses. On Friday, more than 850,000 total shots were recorded in the U.S. Ayanna Campbell, 14, received a COVID shot at Jackson State University in Mississippi on Tuesday.
World CBS News, com. August 1, 00. 32 Europe London. Belarusian opposition leaders fight for democracy. Svyatlana Tikhanovskaya is living in exile after being defeated by President Alexander Lukashenko in an election widely regarded as fraudulent. World CBS News, com. August 1, 00. 31 Europe London. American tourists return to France as protests over health pass continue. France has reopened its borders to Americans, as protesters continue to demonstrate against a government-required health pass to enter public spaces. Elaine Cobb reports.
BBC News World. August 1, 00. 11 Europe London, Nairobi, the center of East Africa's thriving art scene. Artists from across East Africa have converged on Kenya's capital, creating a vibrant scene. BBC News World. August 1, 00. 01 Europe London, the women fighting infertility stigma in Nigeria. 3 Nigerian women confront the prejudice they have faced on their fertility journeys. BBC News World. July 31, 2331 Europe London, anti-eviction lawmaker camps overnight on U.S. Capitol steps. Cori Bush fears millions of U.S. tenants could be at risk if an eviction freeze is allowed to expire.
The Independent. July 31, 2305 Europe London. Fighting rages in 3 Afghan cities as Taliban launches sustained assault. People want to leave, but don't know where they can go. We are surrounded, there is fighting everywhere.
New York Times World News. July 31, 2234 Europe London. Thousands protest in France against health pass for 3D weekend. The government's health pass law was passed by Parliament and is expected to get a final green light from a top constitutional council next week. Demonstrators in Paris protested against France's health pass and other coronavirus protocols on Saturday.
World CBS News, com. July 31, 2211 Europe London. Turkey evacuates panicked tourists by boat from wildfires. The death toll from wildfires raging in Turkey's Mediterranean towns has risen to 6 after 2 forest workers were killed, according to the country's health minister.
The Independent. July 31, 2158 Europe London. Cori Bush sleeps outside Capitol as progressive Democrats push to extend eviction moratorium. Housing experts say millions of Americans potentially face eviction without the ban.
RT World News. July 31, 2141 Europe London. Water cannon v burning barricades. Paris protests against COVID ID turn violent as France resists measure. 3 officers were injured as mass protests in Paris against a COVID-19 health pass spilled over into fierce clashes between the demonstrators and police, as thousands took to the streets of France for a third weekend in a row.